Sorry for the technical delay, folks, but welcome to the virtual public informational meeting for state project number 161-147, replacement of bridge number 04986, carrying Sugar Hollow Road over the Norwalk River in the town of Wilton. Below are some helpful links to reach project email, phone, and the project webpage. Overview for tonight, we're going to have some housekeeping, which will include project team and meeting interaction, project team introductions. There'll be a formal presentation of the design, which will explain the existing conditions, define the project purpose and need, the proposed replacement recommendation. A presentation, we will have a live question and answer session for any questions that you may have. I'll now read this slide on Title VI. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. We highly encourage you to fill out the voluntary post-meeting survey located at the hyperlink and QR code shown. And if you would like to get different additional civil rights information from the Department's Office of Equity, that hyperlink is shown as well. Recording this presentation will be posted to YouTube after the event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on YouTube after the live event. Here's another slide regarding Title VI notice to the public from the Office of Equity. And the same slide in Spanish. This project is funded through the Federal Local Bridge Program, and the sub-portion of that program is called the Design Managed by State, or DMS program. Prior to the DMS program, which was initiated in 2022, towns would solicit an application for a bridge, and it'd be funded at an 80% federal reimbursement and 20% town funds for design, rights of way, and construction. Under DMS, the town elects to use the department's consultant resources to handle the design phase on their behalf. And as a result of that, design, rights of way, and construction phases are funded with a minimum of 80% federal funds and a maximum of 20% state funds. So all phases of the project are at zero cost to the town. And even though the design decisions the design has been handed over to the state on behalf of the town, is still a full partnership. We've been coordinating with the town at all key project milestones, such as this one. The goals of the DMS program were to provide a streamlined approach to design using our DOT resources, to aid towns in keeping their bridges in a state of good repair by effective use of funds, decrease typical design time from 60 months to 36 months, when applicable, utilize accelerated bridge construction techniques to shorten the construction duration, and to increase the number of municipal projects we deliver each construction year. Representing the Department of Transportation is Derek Lassard, Division Chief of Bridges. I'm Mark Burns, Supervising Engineer or Program Manager for the Local Bridge Program. Andrew Shields is the Project Engineer for this project. And representing the Department's Office of Rights of Way as the Project Coordinator is Zachary Garino. Representing Clough Harbor and Associates, who is the consultant liaison for this project, are Anand Sasadri, CLE Project Manager, Jeff LeMay, Highway Lead, and Scott Young, Permitting Lead. And then representing Eco Design for Hydraulics is Tom Bolzak. I'll now turn it over to Frank Smermiglio, Town of Wilton Director of Public Works and Town Engineer, for some opening remarks. Frank?
Yep, thanks, Mark. So my name is Frank Smermiglio, Director of Public Works, Town Engineer. Thank you everyone for attending the meeting tonight. Just a quick thing about bridges. Over the last 5 years, we received 5 grants for complete bridge reconstruction projects. 2 of them that were just recently completed were Arrowhead, the bridge on Arrowhead, and the bridge on Lovers Lane. I encourage everyone to drive by and look at those 2 bridges. So this bridge, ultimately this bridge would be most similar to the one on Arrowhead, just by the nature of the contours and the roadway. The 2 other bridges that are currently in design right now are Honey Hill Bridge and Canyon Road Bridge. They're in design. We're looking to go out to bid in the fall for construction in 2026. And now Sugar Hollow Bridge is the 5th grant that we received for a complete replacement. We support the project. We support the reconstruction of the bridge, and we look forward to receiving input and comments from the residents. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Frank. This slide just depicts some key structural elements of a bridge. The traveling or driving surface, otherwise known as the deck, is shown on top. That's the pavement surface. In most instances, there will be a parapet, whether it be bridge rail or concrete, to protect the traveling public. Supporting the deck is the bridge's superstructure, and in this diagram is steel beams. From there, the rest of the support for the superstructure is the substructure, which consists of abutments, and depending on the span length, you'll see one or multiple piers. And then our department's Office of Bridge Safety inspects bridges on a biannual basis and gives the key structural elements a rating of 1 to 9, with 9 being an excellent and 1 being an imminent failure. But prior to any major issues, they alert the town to take corrective action. In the case of the Sugar Hollow Road Bridge, the bridge has been closed due to its critical condition. Here are some examples of concrete deterioration. Efflorescence is a chemical reaction which produces the white substance shown there. Honeycombing is as a result of improper setup of concrete, and then when forms are removed, you get voids as shown there. Scaling is usually seen on the wearing surface of concrete, and as a result of damage or freeze thaw. Another example of freeze thaw is map cracking, where water has entered, freezes, and then creates those small cracks shown. In the more severe cases, you see spalling, where the exterior concrete has separated from the rest of the concrete surface, exposing the reinforcement below. I'll now turn over to Anand Sasadri for the formal presentation. Anand?
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everybody, and my apologies for the technical issues. So this slide here shows the location of Sugar Hollow Road, bridge number 4986. This bridge carries Sugar Hollow Road, which is sort of oriented in a north-south direction, and Norwalk River sort of flows under the bridge from the west to the east. So Sugar Hollow Road basically makes 2 intersections with Route 7. One is the southerly intersection, and the other is the northerly intersection. Norwalk River flows under Bridge 04986, and further downstream of the Sugar Hollow Road Bridge, we have the Route 7 bridge crossing, and then the Metro North bridge crossing, and the Factory Pond Dam. And the reason I bring this up is all of these structures have influence on the hydraulic performance of the Sugar Hollow Road Bridge. So the Sugar Hollow Road also provides access to the business at 991 Danbury Road and the resident of 19 Sugar Hollow Road. And before the bridge was closed, the town informed us that most of the people from Sunset Pass were actually taking a left turn on Sugar Hollow Road so that they could go towards the northerly intersection and then get onto Route 7 because of sightline issues with the southerly intersection, which is one of the things we hope to solve with this project. So a little bit about basic information about the bridge. The bridge was originally built in 1930, about 95 years ago. It's a single span bridge, approximately 26 feet in span length. The superstructure of the bridge is reinforced concrete T-beams, and they are supported on grouted stone masonry abutments, which are supported on masonry foundations bearing on the soil. The bridge carried a roadway width of approximately 23 feet 1 inches, and that is slightly less than the state standard of 24 feet, but greater than the federal highway standard of 20 feet. And the average daily traffic on the bridge, we estimated to be around 205 vehicles. This was based on traffic counters that we had installed on either side of the bridge. Now, hydraulically, because of the 12-mile watershed that the bridge carries, it's classified as a large structure. So for a large structure, the 100-year storm is considered to be the design storm. So today, the clear span of the bridge, which is the distance between the two abutments, is approximately 25 feet. And that is less than 1.2 times the bankful width of the channel, which is about 43.2 feet. So it is sort of less in span length than what it sort of needs to be. Hydraulic underclearance on this bridge is negative 4.8, which is less than the 2.0 feet minimum standard. Now, what is hydraulic underclearance? So the underclearance is the distance from the 100-year design storm which is sort of going over the top of the roadway that you see on this blue line, to the lowest point of the superstructure. So it's a negative. That means basically the 100-year design storm is flowing above the superstructure. So that's a negative 4.8. The freeboard is negative 2.4 feet, whereas the standard is 1 foot minimum. And freeboard is a distance that's measured again from the 100-year design storm to the lowest point on the roadway. And the backwater elevation is 0.7 feet. And backwater is nothing but the difference in the 100-year storm, 100-year water surface elevation with the bridge being present and if there was no bridge. And that difference is 0.7 feet, which meets the standard of 1 foot max. And from a scour perspective, this bridge is classified to be scour susceptible. So as Mark mentioned, every bridge is inspected at a minimum once every 2 years. And when this bridge was last inspected in October of 2017, the inspectors found that the T-beam superstructure was in poor condition, which resulted in the restriction of the traffic to a one-lane configuration. And then subsequently, when a load rating was performed, because of the poor load rating or the load carrying capacity of the bridge, it was recommended that this bridge be closed to traffic. So currently, this bridge is closed to traffic. Just wanted to share some site photos with you. So the photo on the top left is the bridge looking from the south approach. And as you can see, there are barriers indicating that the bridge is closed. The photo on the top right is bridge from the north approach. The photo on the bottom left is looking south from Sugar Hollow Road towards the Route 7 intersection. You can see that Sunset Pass is coming in from the right. The photo on the bottom right is looking north from the bridge. The photo here on the top left shows the underside of the T-beam superstructure. The photo on the top right here shows the spall condition of the T-beams. And as you can see, the spalls and the deterioration of the rebars, that's what led to the poor load rating capacities. The bottom photos basically show the condition of the stone masonry abutments. The top left photo here shows the upstream channel. The top right photo here shows the downstream channel. And then what you can see further down is the Route 7 bridge over the Norwalk River. The bottom left photo here shows the business access to the parking lot at the northeast approach. And the bottom right photo here shows the northerly intersection of Sugar Hollow Road with Route 7. So one of the things we also wanted to do as part of this project is to improve the intersection sight distance. So the photo here on the left basically shows the intersection where Sugar Hollow Road is coming from the north, and you have Sunset Pass coming again from the west, and both are intersecting Route 7. So basically, you have a situation where the Sugar Hollow Road Sunset Pass intersection and the Sunset Pass Route 7 intersection are skewed intersections. Both are located within 30 feet of Route 7. The intersection itself is very wide. The Sunset Pass is unstriped, and there is this retaining wall present on 973 Danbury Road, and with the stop bar placed about 35 feet from the intersection. All of this is causing basically poor or substandard intersection sight distance. So from a number perspective, if you look at the Sugar Hollow Sunset Pass intersection, the standard intersection sight distance needs to be about 280 feet. But what is available for the traveling public is about 70 feet looking left and 30 feet looking right. Likewise, the intersection of Sunset Pass with Route 7, while the standard intersection sight distance is 500 feet, the actual sight distance is only 85 feet looking left and 40 feet looking right. So this is poor, and this is one of the things which we are also hoping to solve as part of this project. So which then leads us to the project's purpose and needs. So the main purpose of the project is obviously to replace the bridge so that it can meet current standards. Along with that, we want to improve the intersection and the intersection side distance between Sugar Hollow Road, Sunset Pass, and Route 7. We want to eliminate any scour susceptibility rating. And as much as possible, we want to improve the hydraulic performance of the bridge, which is by making the span length a little longer, and if possible, if we can improve the underclearance and the freeboard. So the proposed rehabilitation for this project that we are proposing is a full bridge replacement with intersection improvements. What we are proposing as far as the bridge goes is a new pre-stressed concrete deck bridge. The photo here you see is the recently completed Arrowhead Road Bridge that Frank was talking about in his opening remarks. So this new bridge at Sugar Hollow will look similar to the Arrowhead Road Bridge. It will have a span length of about 48 feet. It will be a pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge. It will provide a hydraulic clear span of 45 feet, which exceeds that 1.2 bank full width, which I was referring to initially. The superstructure will be supported on reinforced concrete abutments and wing walls, and the foundations will be supported on piles that will be socketed to bedrock, so which sort of eliminates the scour concerns. It will safely carry all ASHTO design and legal loads, so there will be no load restrictions. We are proposing that the roadway on the bridge carry a 24-foot wide roadway, which will be 2 10-foot travel lanes and 2 2-foot shoulders that would meet state standards. The anticipated service life of such a bridge is about 75 years with minimal maintenance. And we are also planning to incorporate an open bridge rail and approach rail system that will meet current safety standards. So relative to some of the aesthetics, posing 2 things. One is stone masonry facing that you can see on both these photographs. Anything that's exposed on the wing walls that will be visible to the public will have a stone masonry facing, and the pattern will be the same pattern that was used on Lovers Lane Bridge. As far as the bridge rail, it will be metallized to a color of town's choice, and we're generally seeing the town of Wilton going with a black color on all their past bridges. So this here shows a proposed cross-section of the bridge. So this is basically if you cut the bridge in half and if you look south, what you will see is a roadway cross-section on the bridge. So the bridge will carry 2 10-foot travel lanes and 2 2-foot shoulders. And we will have a 3-tube curb-mounted bridge rail on both sides. The superstructure consists of 18-inch deep pre-stressed concrete deck units with a 6-inch topping slab that will support the bituminous concrete pavement on top. This here shows the proposed bridge plan. So just to orient everybody, Sugar Hollow Road is going left to right, south to north, and Norwalk River is flowing under the bridge from west to east, shown in blue. So what we are proposing is a bridge with a span length of 48 feet that will provide a 45-foot clear span that will meet or exceed the 1.2 times bank full width requirements. What you see in orange is the proposed pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge that is supported by substructures that are shown here in gray at the 4 corners. What you see in yellow is the new roadway pavement. And as part of the project, we are also going to be improving guide rails and drainage system, which Jeff LeMay will be talking in a few slides later during the presentation. This here shows the proposed elevation of the bridge. This is the west elevation. And again, what you see in orange is the pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge and the rail system. They are supported on grayish colored new abutments and wing walls that will be supported on pile foundations that will go all the way into rock for scour protection. And anything that is exposed will have the stone masonry facing, not only on the substructure, but also on the end blocks. Now, relative to hydraulics, by increasing the span length, we were able to marginally decrease the 100-year water surface elevation by about 0.3 feet. And with the shallower superstructure that is used, we are able to obtain a minus 4.0 underclearance, a minus 2.4 feet of freeboard. Now, even though they don't meet standards, they are an improvement compared to existing. And we are able to only marginally improve the hydraulic performance is because of the 3 downstream bridge crossings, the Route 7 over Norwalk River, the Metro North Railroad over Norwalk River, and the Factory Pond Dam, which all sort of results in hydraulic constraints. And so because of those, we're not able to improve the hydraulics any further. So to talk more about the roadway, I have Jeff LeMay from Highway Group who will talk about the roadway plan and improvements.
All right, thank you, Anand. Well, good evening, everyone. With this slide, I'll give just a brief overview of the roadway plan by going over the general site layout and what all these colors mean. And then we'll look at some specific key features for each roadway in subsequent slides. Just to orient everybody with this plan, north is up and to the left. I'm going to go through the colors here. The gray shading indicates existing roadway pavement to remain. Route 7 is located at the top of the screen. It runs north to south. Sugar Hollow Road is generally horizontal on this plan, again, north to south. And then Sunset Pass is generally vertical on this sheet, east to west. The aqua blue shading indicates the Norwalk River. Purple shading indicates wetlands. And when we get right here into the roadway work, the yellow shading, as Anand mentioned, is the proposed roadway pavement reconstruction. Orange indicates the bridge. The red shading indicates proposed driveway reconstruction. The light green and brown shading just outside the yellow roadway limits indicates proposed fill and cut limits or the extent of earthwork. Medium green shading with crosshatching indicates pavement removal and planting low height vegetation, and that's generally on the right corner of the intersection of Route 7 and Sunset Pass. There's dark green shading, which indicates, again, vegetation removal and planting of low height vegetation along Route 7 southbound. All of this to improve sight distances. The red lines you see indicate either existing roadway right-of-way or property lines. We have a purple line here that indicates temporary construction easement. It's required for overhead utility pole relocations during construction. There's a green line, indicates drainage right-of-way, which is required for reconstruction of the existing drainage system. And we'll take a closer look at the rights-of-way lines and how they impact properties in a later slide. So to summarize, in general, the road work will involve minor widening of the roadway to accommodate the 24-foot wide bridge curb to curb, minor realignment of the intersection of all 3 roadways to improve sight distance and turning movements, installation of guide rail to meet the latest MASH crash standards, and then improvements to the existing roadway drainage systems. Next slide, please. On this slide, we'll look at some key features for improvements along Sugar Hollow Road. As Anand mentioned, the road will be widened slightly from 23 to 24 feet to provide the required 24-foot wide bridge curb to curb and standard 10-foot lanes and 2-foot shoulders. The existing horizontal alignment along Sugar Hollow will be maintained in general with stop sign control at Sunset Pass. We will be introducing a horizontal curve prior to the intersection with Sunset Pass. And introducing this curve will provide a perpendicular intersection and eliminate the existing skewed layout. So currently, the 2 roadways come together just to the west of Route 7 with really no defined path of travel. This curve will also shift the intersection of Sugar Hollow and Sunset Pass further away from Route 7, which helps improve turning movements and traffic flow. Curve will also improve intersection sight distance as you're sitting on Sugar Hollow. Existing is about 70 feet looking left toward Route 7 and 30 feet looking right up Sunset Pass. These will be improved to 110 feet and 90 feet respectively. And the standard intersection sight distance for this roadway and this speed of 25 miles an hour is 280 feet. The intersection sight distance will also be improved in conjunction with the larger curb radius and some tree clearing on the west corner of this intersection. Total project limit along Sugar Hollow Road will be about 350 feet. Slide. On this slide, we'll look at some key features for improvements along Sunset Pass. Again, we'll maintain the existing alignment with stop sign control at Route 7. Again, we'll introduce a slight curve along Sunset Pass just prior to the intersection of Route 7 to help square that up. We'll move the stop bar closer to Route 7. It's currently 35 to 40 feet away. So we'll move that up closer. It helps motorists see beyond the existing retaining wall that's on the right corner of the intersection. We'll also look at reducing the pavement at the mouth of the intersection to help channelize vehicles and better orient them for turning onto Route 7. We'll increase the pavement radius, as I mentioned before, on Sugar Hollow and Sunset Pass to improve turning movements for larger vehicles. We'll incorporate centerline and shoulder striping to help channelize vehicles. And as I mentioned before, we'll incorporate low height vegetation along the edge of Route 7, looking north and south. All these improvements I just listed will again provide a perpendicular intersection to improve turning and visibility onto Route 7, improve intersection sight distance at Sunset Pass from 85 feet looking left onto Route 7 and 40 feet looking right onto Route 7 to 270 feet and 210 feet respectively. The standard intersection sight distance looking onto Route 7 is 500 feet based on the 45 mile an hour speed on that road. Improved turning movements for larger vehicles on Sunset Pass, again, with the increased radius on that corner. So the total roadway project limit work on Sunset Pass will be about 100 feet. Next slide. With the slight roadway widening and reconfiguring of the intersection, it will require improvements to the existing storm drainage systems. There's two systems currently out there, one on the north approach and one on the south approach to the bridge. Approaching the bridge from the north, there's going to be two catch basins that will get new tops just north of the commercial driveway. The outfall of this system into the Norwalk River will need to be reconstructed as it will be impacted with the removal of the existing bridge northwest wing wall. At the south bridge approach, the existing two catch basin system will be replaced with a 3 catch basin system, and the additional catch basin will be located on the south curb line of Sunset Pass. The outlet pipe and outfall to this system will need to be reconstructed as it too will be impacted with the removal of the existing bridge structure and to also accommodate the new intersection layout. Next slide. To further improve turning movements onto Route 7, additional improvements are being considered at the north end of Sugar Hollow Road with Route 7. These include trimming vegetation along the west side of Route 7 southbound, looking north for approximately 150 feet. Moving the stop bar on Sugar Hollow Road closer to Route 7, and then incorporating centerline and shoulder striping on Sugar Hollow just in the vicinity of Route 7 to better orient vehicles that are waiting to turn onto Route 7. This will improve intersection sight distance from 240 feet looking left along Route 7 southbound to 375 feet. Sight distance looking right from this intersection is about 475 feet, which is pretty good. The standard is, again, 500 feet turning onto Route 7. Next slide. This is the proposed Sugar Hollow Road profile or vertical elevation along the center line. Just to give you an idea of what you're looking at here, Sunset Pass intersection is located at the right end of this profile. What you're seeing in orange shading indicates the proposed bridge. The gray shading indicates widening of the structure from the existing bridge opening. And again, yellow is the proposed roadway elevation. The proposed roadway matches the existing roadway elevation along the north approach and across the bridge. There's a minor increase in roadway elevation near the intersection of Sunset Pass, as you see in green, to accommodate the new intersection layout. Next slide. This is the proposed Sunset Pass roadway profile or vertical elevation along the center line. Route 7 intersection is located at the right end of this profile. Again, yellow is the proposed roadway elevation, and as you can see, the proposed roadway matches existing roadway elevation as close as possible. There's some very minor cut and fills shown in brown and green to provide a better uniform surface on the roadway. Next slide. In terms of utility impacts, there are overhead lines, utility lines located along the west side of Sugar Hollow Road and close to the west bridge fascia. These will need to be temporarily relocated in order to perform the bridge work and potentially permanently relocated. There's also going to be a relocation of a fire hydrant that's located on the west corner of Sunset Pass and Sugar Hollow Road, just as a result of increasing that radius on the corner. Environmental impacts will consist of tree clearing and grubbing along the roadway, temporary and permanent wetland impacts, which are anticipated to be relatively minor, and best management practices will be followed to minimize impacts to fish and wildlife. For historic impacts, we're looking at very de minimis impacts anticipated at number 973 Danbury Road, and that's generally related to removing pavement in front of the existing retaining wall and establishing some kind of low height vegetation. So no disturbance to the wall, but removing the pavement will be inside that property line. Anticipated permits will be the Town of Wilton Inland Wetland and Watercourse Permit, Connecticut DOT Flood Management Certification Memorandum of Understanding, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers pre-construction notification. Slide. As I mentioned in the first slide, there will be some right-of-way impacts associated with the proposed construction. Again, for reference, the red lines indicate existing right-of-way or property lines. So we're looking at a permanent acquisition for a small triangular piece of land on one property at the corner of Sunset Pass and Sugar Hollow Road. This will be required as indicated in the orange line work. A drainage right-of-way on one property to reconstruct existing drainage system and outfall will be required as indicated with the green line work. The other drainage system on the north side of the bridge falls entirely within the existing right-of-way. Slope easements are required for 3 properties due to proposed cut and fill limits shown in brown and green shading, very minor. Temporary construction easements are required on 2 properties for the temporary relocation of overhead utilities on the west side of the road that will be in the way of bridge construction, and that's indicated in the purple line. Along with all of these other rights and easements, we have rights to construct 1 driveway in red shading, remove pavement and install turf and topsoil in the dark green with hatching, and sedimentation control systems on various properties. I'll now turn the presentation over to Zach from the Connecticut DOT to discuss the rights of way process.
Thanks, Jeff. My name is Zach Garino, and I'm a project coordinator with the department's Division of Rights of Way. Our office is responsible for acquiring the property rights that are needed for these different projects. So as Jeff mentioned in the presentation, this project will require the acquisition of property rights. So I'd like to give a brief overview of our acquisition process. Before I begin, I'd like to mention that the specific impacts are still being finalized and they may change as the design progresses, and that any required property rights will be acquired in accordance with Connecticut General Statute sections 13A73, 13A98E, as well as the Uniform Act. Change the slide. So the right-of-way acquisition process begins once the design has progressed to a development milestone and all the impacts have been determined. At this point, each affected property owner will receive a formal letter of intent to acquire from our office, along with a property map which depicts the exact property rights to be acquired. And on the screen is an example of a property map that an owner may receive. It's going to be showing the existing conditions as well as the proposed improvements and the acquisitions. Our office will then determine the fair market value of those property rights which are depicted on the map and use it to establish an offer of just compensation. That offer will be sent out to the property owner in writing, and a right-of-way agent will be available to meet with the property owner and explain the project, go over the specific impacts to their property, and explain how the state arrived at its offer. The property owner will be given a reasonable amount of time, typically 30 days, to consider the state's offer and enter into negotiations. When an agreement is reached, the department will prepare all the necessary paperwork to record the deed and property map on the town land records. However, if an agreement cannot be reached, in order to keep on schedule, the department may acquire the necessary property rights through its power of eminent domain. In that event, the state files a notice of condemnation in the Superior Court, along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the state's offer. The owner would have 6 months from that date to file an appeal if they felt that the state's offer was inadequate. Whether or not the owner chooses to appeal, the money deposited in the court is available to be withdrawn by the owner. And it's important to note that the state only acquires property rights that are specific for this project. If there are any questions regarding the right-of-way acquisition process, I can answer them after the presentation. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to CHA. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you, Jeff. So relative to the project schedule, we anticipate the design completion of this project to be around June of 2027. That will also involve not only completion of the design, but acquisition of rights of way and all the permits that Jeff talked about. And we anticipate construction to start in spring of 2028, subject to right of way acquisitions and permit approvals. And we anticipate this construction duration to be 1 season construction. Right now, we are estimating the construction costs to be approximately $3.6 million, with 80% covered by federal funds and 20% by state funds with no cost to the town. And again, the cost and schedule are preliminary and are subject to change, but we'll keep updating them with every milestone submission. And that's all we have for presentation. Andrew or Mark?
Great. Thank you very much for your presentation today, Clough Harbor and Associates, as well as Zach Carino. At this time, we'll now be accepting questions through the Zoom Q&A feature by phone at 860-594-2020 or via email at dot-flbp@ct.gov. Anna, would you mind sharing your screen again?
Yeah, let me do that again.
So at the bottom of everyone's screen, you should have a Q&A bubble where you can click on, type in questions, and see all the questions that have been asked throughout the presentation.
You able to see that?
Yes, we can see your screen on.
Okay.
In the meantime, would you mind going over the project schedule one more time?
Sure. So right now, we are scheduled for completion of design around June of 2027. It's basically, we have milestone submissions coming, which will be once we get a design approval subject. So once we complete this virtual public information meeting, we seek design approval. That will culminate the preliminary design phase of the project. Then the project goes into the final design phase, where we'll have milestone submissions of 60, 90, and 100% submission, followed by the final design plans that are anticipated to come in around June of 2027. The project will be advertised in fall of 2027, followed by construction in spring of 2028.
Thank you, Anna. Again, at this time, we are open for questions. We have one come in. What's your time frame for contacting the impacted properties?
Zach, would you like to
Yeah.
take that? Yeah.
So it really just depends on, like I was mentioning, when we actually have all the impacts finalized and we can produce a property map. So that's really, it probably would, from today's date, on any idea when you think those maps would be requested?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be about 9 months from now, approximately. I think.
Okay. So probably closer to 9 months. You'll be get a letter. My name will be on it. You'll have the map, like I was mentioning, and we'll start the conversation. But in the meantime, you can always ask questions, and I don't mind if you want to provide your contact information now. I can always just have that on the record, so it might be easier, kind of expedite some of that process as well. So thanks for your question.
Thank you, Zach. We have another question. Have we considered utilizing a pedestrian bridge over Sugar Hollow and dead ending the road itself and just fix the river and Sunset Pass as well as Route 7? This attendee debates the 205 cars per day on a value. Most of us were cutting to the neighborhood using Sugar Hollow to get off of Route 7 early. I feel the bridge is not critical. Frank, would you be able to speak to that?
Sure, not a problem. Yeah, so back in 2000, probably 2019, 2020, we did receive requests. It started off as receiving requests from the shopping center about pushing to reopen the bridge. We did not open the bridge. We did not pursue opening the bridge at that point. But then we received a petition from the neighborhood with probably about 84 residents pushing for the town to pursue opening the bridge. I think it was before the petition, around the time of the petition, we did submit an application, and then with the petition, the grant was approved, for this work.
Thank you, Frank. At this time, do we have any other questions or comments from our folks here attending on Zoom? We'll stay on for another minute just to make sure. And to those listening on YouTube or listening by phone, we can quickly answer your question over the next 2-week comment period. I personally will be answering all your questions if you do reach out. We have a question. Is the petition something that you can share? Is the petition public, Frank?
Yes, I could share it if someone wants to email me in the morning. I certainly can share it. My email address at work is frank.smurriglio@wiltonct.gov. And then if you send me an email, I certainly can share it with you.
Thank you, Frank. So again, over the next 2 weeks, if other questions or concerns come up with respect to the project team and I will be able to respond to them and address any concerns and take the time necessary to make sure that the project is good for everybody here. We had an attendee say that Anand mentioned most of the people would go left from Sunset onto Sugar Hollow Road when the bridge was open. Is this based on any public data points?
So I think what I meant was that when the bridge was open, we were told by the town that most of the people were using Sugar Hollow Road to cut across so that they could go and take the northerly intersection to Route 7 because it had better sight lines. So that's what I meant under pre-2018. But post-construction, I think we're going to be improving the south intersection also.
Great. Thank you, Anand. We have a resident saying that the bridge is very well needed for the area and neighborhood. So absolutely, we will be going through with the project. We have all intents to do so. and complete the intersection improvements as well as the structure itself. At this time, kind of last call for any questions or comments for the live panel that we have this evening. Jeff mentioned low vegetation. Are we talking grass or other types of plantings?
Sorry about that. That's really something that's hasn't been determined yet. We're still in preliminary design. It's not something that DOT uses widely, but it is something that they do use. So you know, we'll have to figure out what the best low height vegetation is for this particular area, and we have, you know, some time to do that during the design process. We'll obviously be coordinating this with the town as well.
And to maybe abate the concern of the choice of vegetation, we're not going to be choosing something that is fast growing, needs high maintenance. We're choosing plantings that are indigenous to the area, low growth, low maintenance, so that the views of the intersection that we're reconstructing are promoting visibility on the highest degree.
Yeah, good point. Thanks, Andrew.
So we have another comment. The property lines on the map show red lines saying that a right-of-way. Would this user be able to finish the question? I'm not sure if it's a question or comment at this time. They're asking if the red is what right-of-way. So that's the state right-of-way, since it's the state route. So that's
basically the
property
red.
that's owned by the municipality on either sides of the shoulders of the roadway.
Yeah, what we're trying to generally show with red lines are all the property lines and the town and state right of way.
We show red on the property lines. So are you asking that the red shaded area, are you asking what that is? That's a driveway to the shopping plaza.
So my guess is, Andrew, I think what they're referring to is the red color is being shown both for the right of way and property line. So yes, property lines are different from the right of way lines. Right of way is something that the town or the state owns, but we are just using the red color for both the town right of way, the state right of way, and property.
I think just to add to that, the front property, so the right of way line is similar to the front property line to a property. You know, there's side property lines, there's back property lines, but the front property lines are really just also considered the right of way line that's adjacent to town land or state land.
Additionally, this map is not an official right-of-way map. It's more used for visual purposes. Just trying to distinguish what the boundaries that we have to work with in the public roadway versus any private holdings in the area. So it's really just more for reference, all of these drawings that we're showing this evening, because we're still in a pretty early concept phase of the project. So things are subject to change as we develop the design throughout the entire design process. So once we do get a further sharpened pencil on the design, if you will, that's when the Connecticut Department of Transportation is going to be reaching out to abutters to address any concerns that you have for the project, involve you in the design. If your property will be either taken or have a temporary easement on it, you will be made aware of the project and be very involved as you would like to be in the project. We have another question. When will we find out that the project has been approved? Sunset is a pretty busy road and will impact the traffic flow. So the project has technically already been approved by the Department of Transportation, and we've been designing the project for a little while now. So it's in active design for both right-of-way, traffic, as well as structures, and hydraulics. So we are in active design. It's been approved. We have funding, and we're working through the design. And upon completion of the design, we will be proceeding into bidding, construction, etc. As for the stone masonry facing, is this natural stone or stamped?
Yeah, this is going to be real. Yeah, it's going to be real stone, natural stone, similar to what was done on two other projects that Frank mentioned, Lovers Lane and Arrowhead Road in the town.
We have another question. Since our property is the most impacted in vegetation, gives us slight noise privacy, will we be able to work with you on landscaping? The answer to that is absolutely. If you're in a butter to the project, you will be made aware of anything that's going on with the project. And since it'll literally be right in your backyard, we will be in as close contact as you would like us to be. To make sure that any concerns of yours can be incorporated into the design. We're still early enough in the design of the project that if we have certain changes that need to be done at this point in time, we can absolutely take care of those in a timely manner and make sure everything is addressed prior to. So we're catching things early if things do come up. We have another question or another comment, that is. Consider paving the entirety of Sugar Hollow Road. It's in need of it, given the magnitude of the project. It seems odd not to just repave the road where there would be asphalt curbing. So we can definitely take that into account and see kind of while we're in there. It also depends on project budget and the availability of asphalt for the town of Wilton.
Yeah, so
Sorry, go ahead, Frank.
So what would happen there is the grant would cover the limits that are associated with the bridge and the intersection improvements. And then the town would end up just paying directly for the paving work in between the two spaces to complete the road.
Pretty much the same response I was going to have, so perfect.
Yep.
Thanks.
Another comment, the intersection site distance and grading at the north end of the Sugar Hollow is currently terrible. You mentioned trimming the vegetation and centerline paint is the only improvement. Is there anything else that could be done here?
I mean, that's something we discussed early on with the traffic group, and I think right now we settled on let's make some major improvements to the south intersection, and then offer up some minor improvements to the north intersection. It's something that can be discussed again as the design progresses. I will say that the intersection site distance at the north intersection looking right is really good, providing the businesses don't put signs up. Looking left, I think we can make some pretty tremendous increases in sight distance by trimming that vegetation. And, you know, we could maybe even go a little further than what we're anticipating to improve it. But it's something that we'll need more survey for and something that we can dive into a little bit deeper.
Any other questions or comment at this time? We have a comment, let's not settle if we're pushing traffic down the road. I sit there 10+ minutes every morning because you can't make the turn and I'm the only car with more traffic. That would be bad.
Yep, understood. I mean, we're putting this bridge in, so, you know, sending cars down there is, you know, something that we're, you know, going to be focused on. So we will look at that north intersection a little bit more during design.
And one of the issues with this area is that it's not really stoplight control, the roadway that you're coming into. So it's more, you're turning onto a highway that's relatively free flow traffic. So it's sort of luck of the draw when it comes to the heaviness of the traffic and the total traffic count for the area. So we're not very much in control of that, and we're not really able to change the speed limit of that road. So increasing sight distance is one of the best options we have for keeping the project contained in a project space. Another clarification request around hydraulics. Did I understand correctly that current proposed design does not meet standards, but is an improvement over what's existing?
Yeah, that's correct. And maybe Tom, if you can sort of elaborate on the constraints offered by the downstream structures.
Yeah, this is Tom Olzak. Yes, I had a privilege of working as a hydraulic engineer on this project. The question with the statement is correct. We are not meeting the standards being roadway providing, or the crossing providing at least 1 foot of freeboard and 2 feet of underclearance. Unfortunately, the 2 crossings and the dam, so Factory Pond Dam, which is the spill is about 17 feet high, and then the Railroad Bridge, Metro North Bridge, and Route 7 Bridge generate so much backwater that coming to this crossing we are working on, the water is so already high that we are unable to satisfy those standards. Essentially, based on the analysis we performed, it appears that the area would be flooded by the 100-year design. As a general information, the Metro North Bridge, which is an old structure, has a clear span of 39.5 feet. Route 7 Bridge has a clear span of 40 feet. And this crossing we are working on here has a 45-foot clear span. So if the other features downstream were not present, there would be a high chance of meeting those criteria or getting much closer to the design criteria. But because all these features create such a big, high backwater, we also call it tailwater at the exit point of the bridge, we are unable to accomplish that.
Great. Thank you very much for your comment, Tom. Would a proposed build have any change on the average water level up or down the stream post-build?
I think this is another question from me.
Yes.
The proposed build have any change in average water level? Average water level is a pretty difficult subject to discuss, but for the ordinary flows not related to high rainfall in the watershed or high flood, we are not going to change significantly the flooding or the levels of water. For the situations for which we are designing, or the events we are designing this bridge, and those 100-year event, we are making, as Anand stated already, a nominal reduction in the water level in this area. It's about 0.3 of a foot. We also consider other 2 extreme events, 200-year event and 500-year event. And those are typically used in determining the safety of the foundation or scouring potential of the bridge. And those are used to establish the elevation of the foundation. But directly to answer the level of water, we are not expecting any significant changes in the water surface elevation for low flows, ordinary flows, everyday flows, and then incremental reduction for those high, less frequent events. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. We have another comment. Because the bridge is currently closed, more traffic travels through Wheel Ridge Road over to Branchville. So if we get this bridge opened up, that will definitely alleviate some of the local traffic and better balance the flow of the area. Another comment, during the 1955 flood, Sugar Hollow Bridge survived, whereas the Route 7 bridge collapsed.
Yes, we investigated those historic floods. I'm sorry, I think I'm speaking over you, Andrew.
You can go.
I apologize. Yeah, so we were aware that the bridge, Sugar Hollow Bridge, survived the 55 flood. As part of the project, we investigated or looked into the history, and that was one of the reasons considered in determination of how the foundation of this crossing, at what level, at what depth would have to be would be prudent to recommend, and that was incorporated in or it's being incorporated in a design.
Thank you, Tom. Again, happy to answer any further questions that we have in the crowd tonight. And for the next 2 weeks, we will have a comment period open to the public to be able to submit any questions, comments, or concerns regarding what we presented tonight. And if there would like to be any changes or what have you, we're definitely willing to incorporate and discuss incorporating into the job as necessary. So with that, that now brings a conclusion to our presentation for this evening. Gulf Harbor Associates, Connecticut Department of Transportation, Eco Design, all thank you, as well as the town of Wilton. All thank you for your time and your attention to this project. We are here to design for you, and we intend to give the town of Wilton the best project and the best product that we can at the end of the day. We're here representing the state of Connecticut, and we enjoy helping the municipalities however we can.
Just one more thing to add. I just want to thank everyone. Well, I just want to thank DOT and the team for their assistance to the town of Wilton. And I definitely encourage residents to drive down Lover's Lane and Arrowhead because it's the same group that designed and the town of Wilton constructed the bridges with oversight from DOT and CHA. So I just want to thank the town and thank DOT for their help.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. Right now, I just posted another link. We would greatly appreciate it if you could fill out the voluntary survey at the end of this presentation. Again, we appreciate your time and the attention to the project. And we look forward to working with you and getting this project completed. Everyone have a great evening and be well. Enjoy the weather this week.